Well, good morning. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday as we come to spend some time in the truth. We are in Exodus chapter 5. Chapter 5. God's message has been delivered to the Pharaoh, who was not in favor of the people of Israel departing from the land to go and worship as God had commanded. Instead, he draws the conclusion in his own mind that if these people have enough time to want to leave and go somewhere for a few days and then come back, then they have too much time on their hands. They're idle. If they're idle, they're not going to be in control. They're going to have time to think. They're going to have time to act. And so I have to do something about this. They can't be idle. They have to be busy. I have to keep my thumb on them. And so he comes up with his plan for them now to have to provide their own straw to make bricks. He's not going to provide straw for them anymore. And the decree has been made, and now it's being implemented by the Egyptian taskmasters who are responsible to make sure that the slaves stay in line, do what they're told, perform the way that Pharaoh expects them to. They have to make the same number of bricks as they did before when the straw was already supplied for them. Now they have to go find it, accumulate it, bring it to wherever they're making the bricks, and still make the same number of bricks as before. So today we pick it up in verse 10, Exodus chapter 5, verse 10. So the taskmasters and the foreman of the people went out and said to the people, "Thus says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go and get your straw yourselves wherever you can find it, but your work will not be reduced in the least." And so now the proclamation that was made by the Pharaoh, because of this conclusion that the people are idle, they have too much time, now the bad news comes to the people. The taskmasters give it to the foremen. The foremen are actually Jews or Hebrews, Israelite men who have been appointed by these Egyptian taskmasters to watch over a portion, whatever that portion of slaves is. They're responsible for that. And so the taskmasters bring the message to the foreman, and this group goes before the people, and they explain to them what they have to do now. We're not going to give you straw anymore. You have to go find your own, but you're not allowed to make less bricks than you made before. You have to make the same number of bricks as you have in the past. The quota didn't change. And so go get your straw yourselves. So now there's this huge task added to the task that they already have. Verse 12, so the people were scattered throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw. So now they're searching everywhere throughout Egypt to find what they need, the resources necessary to make the straw. Verse 13, the taskmasters were urgent, saying, complete your work, your daily task each day, as when there was straw. So get after it. You got to make these people make enough bricks. You can't reduce the number. You have to push them. You got to keep them going. Get it done. Verse 14, when the foremen of the people of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and were asked, why have you not done all your task of making bricks today and yesterday as in the past? And so 2 days go by. Neither day, from the moment they're commanded to go find their own straw, the first 2 days, they don't make the quota. There's not enough bricks. And so these foremen, these Israelite men who have been placed over responsibility of other slaves, are now beaten by their taskmasters, and beaten for the reason that you haven't done it. We told you, you have to find your own straw. You have to bring it here. You got to make bricks, the same number, not less. The response of the taskmasters to these Hebrew foremen and the beating that they received prompts them now to have an audience with Pharaoh. They're going to go to Pharaoh and they're going to voice their opinion of what's happening. And so verse 15 picks up this new scene with them before Pharaoh now. Verse 15 says, then the foreman of the people of Israel came and cried to Pharaoh. So there's this picture of some looking for some form of appeasement. They're trying to appease Pharaoh. Why? They need to know the answer. They're going to question why. It says at the end of verse 15, why treat your servants like this? What happened? What we were doing well. Everything was going good. We didn't have any issues. We were keeping our people in line. They were doing the job. They were making bricks, as many as you wanted. It was all getting done. What happened to change it? What's wrong? They don't know. They weren't in the meeting with Moses and Aaron and Pharaoh. And they didn't hear the result of that challenge to let the people go. So they come with this earnest question. Why? What? We don't deserve this. We didn't do anything to call. What's going on here? Verse 16, no straw is given to your servants, yet you say to us, make bricks. And behold, your servants are beaten, but the fault is in your own people. So you're not giving us. So now they're going to turn the tables on Pharaoh. Your people are failing. It's not us. We can make all the bricks you want. When you provide us with the materials, we can do it. We were good at it. We were making it happen. So we're not failing. It's you. It's your people that are failing because you're not giving us what we need. You're not supplying what we need in order to make the bricks. It's your people that are failing. I wonder how Pharaoh took that. Imagine that didn't make him very happy to hear these foreman Israelite men saying it's not our fault, it's your fault. We're good at this. We can do this, but you're not giving us what we need. So it's not on us, it's on you. Imagine that made the Pharaoh maybe just a little bit on edge. Verse 19, the foreman of the people of Israel saw that they were in trouble. Oh, I got to back up. Back up. I missed verse 17. Verse 17, but he said, now Pharaoh responds to their cry and their point that your people are failing. He responds to that. He said, you're idle. You're idle. It's as simple as that. That's why you say, let us go and sacrifice to our Lord. So you said, let us go. That means you have time on your hands. And so idle people don't fit into my scenario. You need to be working. And so I made it so you have to do the work so that you won't be idle. It's a pretty simple concept that I've done here. Verse 19, the foreman of the people of Israel saw that they were in trouble when they said, you shall by no means reduce the number of your bricks, your daily task each day. So this is it. There's no choice here. We're not changing anything. The decree's been made. You have to go find straw. You have to make the bricks, and you got to make the same number of bricks. Nothing's going to happen. And so they realize they're in this now, that they're in trouble. This thing has happened, and they're going to be required now to make those bricks, or they're going to suffer. Pretty difficult realization for them to have to come to, but this is where you are now because you asked for this, and I said no, because you're not busy enough. If you were busy enough, you wouldn't want to go anywhere. You wouldn't have time to go anywhere, but you're not. So you've got to go. You got to make your own straw. Find your own straw. Verse 20, Now changes the picture again to a different scene, where now we have these men who have just heard from Pharaoh the reason why they're having to gather their own straw is because of this demand that Moses went before Pharaoh to make. Oh boy. So now they're going to confront Moses and Aaron. They met Moses and Aaron, who were waiting for them as they came out from Pharaoh. Moses and Aaron were outside of Pharaoh's hall. Whether they had heard that the foremen were going to talk to him or what is uncertain here. It seems like they must have gotten wind of the fact that this beating had happened. These men were not happy. They had gone to Pharaoh. And so as they come out the door, there are Moses and Aaron. They're waiting for them outside. And they turn on Moses and Aaron now, verse 21, and they said to them, "The Lord look on you and judge." We want God to judge you because you did this to us. You put us in this situation. Your fault. And so we're holding you responsible before the Lord for this, because you made us stink in the sight of Pharaoh and his servants. So that's just a picture of the relational change. Before the demand was made to let the people go, there was, well, it's hard to say. The agreement or the work that was being demanded by Pharaoh is something they were doing. It seems strange to me, though, to think that they cried out to God earlier that they wanted to be delivered because of the burden that was on them. And now they're coming to Moses and Aaron and saying, you did this to us. You made it worse. You've increased the problem. We had a problem before, but we were handling it. Now you've just made it 10 times worse. You've increased the problem that we were facing. And so you made us stink in the sight of Pharaoh and his servants. The picture of not being in any form of favor, but in all kinds of distress as a result. And have put a sword in their hand to kill us. So they're ready now to really act severely as a result of this situation that you put us in. It's interesting how when things change, our perspective changes. These are the same people that were crying out to God for deliverance. God is working his plan to deliver them now, and it's causing some issues for them, and now they want to go back to the way they were. It was better before. We're going to have to, we don't want to have to deal with this. You've made this problem for us. And we know, that the problem is going to get worse before it gets better. This is the first step. And so Pharaoh has made this determination. You got time on your hands. You got extra work to do. You can't do the work. You're going to be punished. The reason why I'm making you do the work is now clearly known to these foremen, who I'm sure are going to go back to their people and share with them, hey, this is what Pharaoh said. This is what Moses and Aaron did. They went to Pharaoh and told him that God wanted us to be left to go into the wilderness and to worship. And Pharaoh has determined that we're not working hard enough. And so he's going to make our work that much harder. And boy, our backs are already suffering as a result of it. We've been beaten as the foremen because you guys aren't producing enough bricks. We're going to have to work really hard now, much more significantly. But it's interesting how perspective changes. We want deliverance until deliverance becomes a challenge. And when deliverance becomes a challenge, then we don't want deliverance anymore. Can't. There's a word in my head. It's not coming out right now. The back and forth idea of their thinking. They're swaying back and forth in their opinion based on their circumstance. And we do that, don't we? We find ourselves asking God for things, and then God responds to us with something that becomes a challenge, and instantly we change course. We want to vacillate back to where we were, or to some other idea that we think will be more favorable. The people of Israel find themselves in a harder place, but it's a place that's ultimately going to lead where God wants them to be, and that is delivered from the land of Egypt. So it's an interesting part of the narrative to look at and to consider the responses of the people, the responses of the Pharaoh, the response of Moses and Aaron as we look at the narrative going forward. So thanks for watching Time in the Truth today. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I hope that you'll have a great time. Hope that you'll be able to be together with someone from your family, someone you love. Have an opportunity to rejoice in God's goodness and God's blessing in your life. And so I won't see you tomorrow, Friday or Saturday or Sunday. So you get a 4-day weekend away from me. We'll be back on Monday to pick up the narrative here in chapter 5 as we continue to make our journey through Exodus on Time in the Truth. So I look forward to seeing you after the weekend. The Lord bless you. I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving, and I look forward to seeing you in a few days. Have a great day today. See you.